Okay. Sorry, Nope, I'm not late. I'm not late. Okay. Sorry, I kind of switched it over and then switched it back. But either way, we are here. And I'm trying to find out why I cannot see chat. There it is. There it is. Okay. Okay. I think we are live. And let me just set this up right over here. Okay. We are live. And as many of you may know, may not know, but AMD's FSR or Fidelity FX Super Resolution has officially been released. Sort of. Well, it should have been. Let's hope. Either way, I've had it, been able to play with it for a little while now. Excuse me. Have a few opinions on it. I'm gonna go over, just kind of give a quick introduction to it, kind of show you what a few of the things that AMD showed us or showed me, and just ultimately what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through. I have another computer set up. I have two separate GPUs, the 6800 XT and the RX 580. They are both ready to go. Well, I've got one in, but I'll be switching it out midstream. But basically, we are actually going to test these out. Now, I do want to go ahead and point out early on that this is a 1080p stream, yet we are going to be testing it out in 4K. But you're going to be able to see the excuse me, you're going to be able to see, the FPS, the difference in FPS, of course, and I do have some images that I'm going to be showing you. Once again, I'll be viewing it in 4K. You'll be seeing it in 1080p, but that's completely fine. You will definitely still be able to see some of the differences because I actually have some images that are blown up that I've already gone through, already kind of put together for you just to show you some of the differences. But hey, let's get started. And first up, we have it right here. The leaks were correct. FSR, let's see. Sorry, just checking out the chat really quick. Okay. Anyway, FSR, the leaks on the titles were correct. We have 7 titles available today. And then these ones right here are available soon. I'm going to be going over Godfall, Riftbreaker, and we may do a little bit of Terminator Resistance. But either way, 7 titles at launch. Not all that impressive, I have to admit, when it comes to the launch titles. But at the same time, whenever I think back to DLSS, when they launched, there weren't that many titles either. But you also can't really give them a pass because they've had an extra year. I mean, it really just feels like they're behind. But, of course, like we've discussed in the past, basically, there's tons and tons of support. Anyway, let me then move on here. Okay, also, this that leaked on the studio partners was accurate as well. We have Valve, which this almost always happens with, this type of technology. You have all these developers kind of say, hey, we're definitely going to make games for it. But really, they're just kind of sitting back and going, how is this going to work? And if it ends up, working out really well, fine. Then they will actually jump on it. But we'll obviously have to wait and see how that plays out. Now, really quickly, I have this right here. I didn't really do a fancy, I didn't download it and save it separately like I did with the other images, but this is kind of an explainer of how FSR goes through everything. So it starts out with a anti-alias render. Or really quick, let me go ahead and kind of explain for those who may not even really understand the whole DLSS FSR. FSR definitely isn't DLSS, but it still takes the same concept as rendering a lower, rendering a lower resolution image, but then upscaling it to try and look like the, I'll get to certain specifics in a second, but basically it just takes a lower resolution image and upscales it, and that's how it's able to effectively have 4K with better frame rates. So you can see here it does this render, it does some tone mapping, then it moves over to the actual special ingredients that, you know, they're not really going to be overly specific on. Then after that, it tries to take out the film grain, things like that happen through the upscaling process. I meant to get to this before that, but one of the really great things about FSR, but we're going to kind of get to this in a minute. It's a good thing, but anyway, one of the good things about FSR is the fact that it is compatible with significantly more GPUs than NVIDIA's DLSS. And the reason for that is because DLSS actually requires tensor cores that are specific to their hardware and specific to at least their 2000 series GPUs when it was introduced. But this does not require that. You can see we have the RX 6000, 6000M, 5000. I mean, we knew it was going to be on the 6000. But then we have 5000, Vega, 500 series. And we will get to that, and it does work. It already works. It's actually super simple. I didn't even have to reinstall any drivers or anything like that. And I am using kind of an early driver that they sent me. I'm not 100% sure if there's going to be any difference in the actual release driver. I highly doubt it, just because I have not had this for long at all. So they've really only had it for like a few days, to be honest. So it's not like I've had like weeks or anything like that. But anyway, so you can get to the 400 series, 500 series. Then they go over to NVIDIA's 30 series, 20 series, and even 10. So like we saw in the original introduction with it working on a 10 series GTX card, it does. Although with that said, I did not test it with any NVIDIA cards. I may do that at a later date. I just wanted an older card and a newer card. But anyway, I'll get to that in just I'll get to this slide in just 1 second. But you can kind of see, so they do have native. I'm assuming this is probably native 4K. I'm not really sure. I don't believe it says anywhere. But either way, they show the different, more traditional upscaling techniques. You have point upscaling, bilinear upscaling. Then you can see super resolution performance mode. And we're going to go through each one of these modes. But so you have the performance mode, then quality mode, which is actually 2 steps above performance mode, but it isn't ultra quality. There is an ultra quality mode that's even better than quality mode. But regardless, you can see that, yes, the quality mode, see if I can scale in on here. Yeah, the quality mode does look good, but you can also see that it's smoothed out. Looks like there's like a smoothing filter applied, but it's certainly better than traditional bilinear upscaling. I mean, you can clearly see it has a sharper edge, but it's not native. And that is going to be a theme throughout this. You know, obviously, even NVIDIA's DLSS isn't native, but I will say it gets so close. If anything, what DLSS 2.0, and now there's some stuff about, I think it's 2.1 or 2.2. I don't remember exactly, but either way, it actually can get right to it, but it also adds a couple new issues. So that's kind of the thing with that, but this is kind of a best case scenario. And then let's go back here. And this is pretty interesting because this kind of shows you how it's able to use these different quality presets. So this right here, and I do like how it specifically tells you this because I actually have an image 1440p that I took scaled up in Photoshop and compared it to the quality presets of FSR to see, you know, how much better is it than the 1440p, because that's all the 1440p, or that basically this is your input resolution when it outputs 4K. So the quality inputs, it takes a 1440p render and then upscales it to 4K. So we are going to be doing that. That's going to be pretty interesting, I think. But this kind of shows how it works. So it takes a higher it takes a higher resolution image, the better quality preset that you want to use. And performance goes all the way down to 1080. And when you're doing 1440p output, the performance mode, which it obviously gets the most performance out of, it goes as low as 720p. So pretty similar to DLSS in that respect. But yeah, I'm thinking we can probably just get to some games. Although, give me 1 second, because while I was talking, I kind of realized that I didn't have Afterburner on yet. I had some major issues. Come to find out, had the wrong HDMI cord. It was an older HDMI standard in my Elgato stream capture device. So yeah, that took me like 2 hours to figure out, which is really sad, but it just was not putting an image up there. I was thinking it was just something wrong with that, and I just thought, God, please don't tell me it's the actual cable itself. And I looked, I thought it was the one that came with it, but it said Nintendo on it. So yeah, long story with that actually. But anyway, okay, so I know that I can rant a little bit here. Let's do this. Okay, so this is my other computer, and I'm going to move my mic over a little bit. And hold on 1 second. Okay. Before I go over, I'm just going to look at comments really quick. Well, you know what? Let's do this. Does anybody have any questions kind of before we continue? Oh, okay. Sorry. So we're getting some just show us. I'm sorry. Don't hate me. Okay. Let's do it. All right. I think I'm just gonna do this because you're just gonna see the side of me. So let's just go straight to the screen. And first up, I guess let's just boot up Godfall. This one's really, I do know for a fact that AMD has what in the world. Hold on. We're going to have to switch over really quickly because apparently it signed me out. Oh my goodness. Hold on 1 second. I actually had to change. Okay, there we go. All right. Oh, Overcooked 2 is free. It's a pretty good game. Okay. So I don't think I have the volume on right now, but we can turn that on. Okay. So let's get this going. Right now, like I said, this is a 6800 XT. And it's pretty simple. This is a beta version. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, they did say it was releasing today, so I mean, I am assuming that it is going to be. Let's see. I really wish that I had something that isn't a blue type switch. Now, this is just the beginning. Let me look. So let's go. This is where it's at. Okay. So it went ahead and saved our last I tested this, it was with the RX 580. So let's change this up a bit. Confirm, make sure that it's still on there. Good. Okay. Okay, so we're at 4K. Obviously, you are only able to see it in 1080p, and honestly, right off the bat, you can definitely tell that there's a difference here. I'm going to try and go back ever so often. And for that person who said that you're not going to see much, don't worry. I really do have a good zoomed in shot that compares every single one. And I think it does such a good job. I'm going to show you very much specifics. And as you can tell, because I'm literally at the beginning of this game, I've really only ever played the first little part just to, like I used the benchmark. But anyway, okay. So let's see. So right now you can see, you should be able to see, it's sort of small. I do apologize. But right now it's running at around 61, 60, like right at 60 FPS. So we can go ahead and hop in settings, and it is pretty quick and easy. You have ultra quality mode right here. Instantly moves it up. Now, this should have ray tracing turned on. Let's see. Yes. So ray tracing is already turned on. I don't have any of their other stuff like this. Any of their other Fidelity FX things turned on, but so yeah, so it does have ray tracing, and you can see instantly we're right at 100 FPS, up from 60. Oops, I'm literally going backwards. Sorry about that. I want to get to one part, or really we can. Nope. So you can see it is pretty instant. Here. Right here is actually where I got the screenshots, and you're gonna see some really big differences, like in the bowl and stuff like that. But then we can go in. I mean, it is at least pretty simple. So then you have quality mode, and we go gain a little bit more FPS. Yeah, we're at closer to, it is jumping quite a bit, but it kind of goes up to around like 115 or so. But you can see we have it more, and then it really is a very big, you know, what are you willing to sacrifice kind of thing. Because I will say right now that it definitely is a sacrifice. But I mean, we can, I guess you can really just show. So we go from performance is the best mode, obviously, as far as getting performance. But at the same time, you can see if we can switch it, and it'll be a good indicator. There's a difference, a pretty big one. I mean, you can see instantly right here, things are looking so much better. So let's go right back really quickly one more time and just kind of show you. So it's off, and then performance. You can definitely see that the edges just aren't nearly as sharp. Once again, there is a difference. But at the same time, you do get some pretty legitimate FPS. But once again, the difference between this and NVIDIA is that they're actually sending it, they're using artificial intelligence to effectively upscale it back to 4K, rather than just taking the original image and, let's see. Okay. Anyway, you can kind of see, I mean, we are talking over double the FPS, but you really do see a difference. So we're in performance mode, and then we turn it off. And things just, I will say, do look sharper. But it is pretty simple. And like I said, I'm actually going to show you a comparison between... I literally don't even know how to play this game, I'm not going to lie. But... And whenever it came out, I saw the reviews and didn't really want to, so... Okay.
She won't want to leave the temple.
Let's see how the bushes look. So this right here, we have it, and then so it's off right now, and then we switch to performance. Yeah. The issue is that it very much is a noticeable difference. I would argue that this is probably closer to DLSS 1. Even though it can upscale from a pretty low resolution. Let me try and do this. The issue, I guess, is that we are kind of working with a 1080p image, or you guys are only seeing a 1080p image. But as you can see, at least, it is as simple as just making a couple changes. Let's see. But I will give it this. Some ray traced games, especially whenever it comes to AMD, it will kill performance so much that it's almost unplayable. So at least adding this will definitely help in that respect. But anyway, so you can kind of see the difference. And what I want to do, I guess, let me just go ahead and go over, and I'm going to show you the comparisons between these that I have. Okay. So that is the one that they showed us, and the one that I have isn't nearly as zoomed in, but we can, I mean, it is zoomed in quite a bit, but you can definitely see the performance jump. You know, we go all the way from 64 to 151, but and once again, this is 4K 6800 XT, so no FSR means native 4K. Oh, you know what? This is to the side, sorry. Yeah, I actually have some decently high bit rate. Okay, so people keep saying change the bit rate. Let me see. Let's do this. I don't think it's gonna let me change it right now. It's not. I don't believe it's gonna let me change the bitrate on the fly like this. I'm using Streamlabs OBS for my software, and it doesn't look like it's gonna let me. So yeah, I do apologize for that, but what we're gonna do, I mean, we're gonna get in really close here, and I'm gonna show you it shouldn't matter, to be honest. But if we look, the one thing I want you to look at is the bowl back here. I mean, you can also look at this. I mean, you can obviously look at anything. You're going to see some differences. But the number one thing to focus on is the bowl. So let's kind of move over. If we look, and to be honest, I will say this. There are a lot of times I'm that type of person where a lot of times people are like, okay, you know, there's such a big difference. And I'm looking and I'm just like, I don't see it. I don't. But I can definitively say that I can see this. So we go from no FSR to FSR Ultra, and you can pretty instantly see the edges around here, as well as just basically everything looks like it has like a smoothing filter. And I mean, you just lose detail. And then when we move, yeah, someone said that the zoomed in images shows the difference more than the gameplay. I agree. I mean, that's really why I did this, especially because I do know that we're going from you know, we're already at 1080p while I'm looking at 4K. So I know there's going to be a difference. But then whenever we move, we can see it's starting to get a little worse. I mean, there is a clear difference. Hopefully you guys can see this. But there is a clear difference between FSR Ultra and Quality. And then we move over and we've lost a little bit more detail. So it is a very clear, defined difference. I mean, let's quickly go back there. Hopefully you saw that from, let's see, from balanced. So look, I would look right around here. And then let me quickly go over. You can just see it's so much sharper. Even this image on the little trash can looking thing is sharper as well. And once again, looking back here, you can definitely see a big difference. And then we move over to, oh wait, no, that was balanced. Then we move over to performance. And this is really bad comparatively, if you ask me. Performance, when we look back at our chart, performance, this one that I'm showing you right now is a 4K output. Performance is taking it from 1080p. So it is a pretty significant difference. And you can see, I mean, we're talking 151 FPS from 64, but it really is a difference. So if we start here, like I said, it helps to really look, or even just look at the bowl as a whole. And then whenever you go back, it looks so smoothed out and blurry, to be honest. And then we can also, I even did this at 1440p with the RX 580. 1440p, obviously, it should not have had ray tracing on because that doesn't make any sense. But either way, at 1440p, it was getting fairly decent 45 FPS. I mean, now, this isn't average. I actually should point that out. This is not average. This is the FPS of that frame. The second that frame was doing it, that was the FPS I was getting. I mean, it does obviously move some. That is not average. My apologies. I actually probably should have done an average, but I just did the frame that was there. Either way, this is 1440p, and try not to look at the lighting just because these were taken. The lighting's not going to be identical, just based on the timing of everything. But once again, looking at the bowl, you start seeing a difference, and then it gets worse there, and then worse, and then it's really bad here. So you start losing tons of detail. I'm pointing as if you guys can see it. Look at like the middle of the bowl right here, and then we move all the way over, and you can just see there's so much detail lost. Okay, now, some people, all right, so someone asked, what about 1440p native? That is my next slide. Do not worry. as I started going through this, I started getting really kind of like, wow, this is not good. And yeah, you can see that he has a sword. I think I moved during this first frame on the 1440p, but this one is like all right after one another. Well, so is this, but I think I mistakenly had my character draw his sword, and then I moved back. But anyway, okay. So it really started getting me concerned. So what I did was I took FSR quality. If we once again go back to our chart, quality is 1440p, output to 4K. So I thought it would be an interesting thing to actually take the 1440p, blow it up just as much, up to 4K, and then, and I did all of this in Photoshop, and you can definitely tell there is a difference. So this is 4K with FSR quality, which means it's taking a 1440p image, blowing it up to 4K using their super resolution tech. And then this right here is just a 1440p that I took and blew up with Photoshop. So you can see a fairly clear difference once again with the bowl. But at the same time, to me, let me know what you guys think, but to me, it almost feels like they took a smoothing, like a smoothing filter and just a couple other filters, like a grain filter and a smoothing filter. And I mean, I'm not at all saying that I'm sure that there's tons of other things that they're doing here, because it certainly does look better, but it also looks more like it's smoothed out. So let me see if I can get these both in the same frame. It's starting to kind of get, but okay. At least for me, I'm able to see this. You may not be able to, but you can see it's definitely grainy. You can see, and it is, a lot of the grain has been taken out, and it looks like it has been smoothed a little bit, but it definitely shows a significant difference. It does look better. But it also looks smoothed out. It doesn't look, I don't know. You can see it. Hopefully you guys can tell, but I will say that this definitely feels like a 1.0. There is one of the slides or some of the information I went through, it definitely said 1.0. So it does sound like AMD plans to make this better. And once again, with the fact that you have such broad support, it is definitely good, but it also doesn't seem to be anywhere near the level of what we see with, say, DLSS 2.0. And at the same time, because they aren't using a neural network, remember, this is why I actually have this. You actually have it where it trains. Developers have to put this through NVIDIA's neural network and train it over time. And over time, it gets better, which is actually why we've seen games with DLSS 1.0 were like, at first were terrible, but the same game would get significantly better. I have no idea why, but my camera just reset. Okay, good. It's still there, but the issue is that it reset and didn't do my zoom properly. But yeah, so I don't know if AMD will ever be able to get as good. I mean, that's the issue. I really wish that they would kind of go into a little bit more details about what they're doing specifically. But at the same time, so it really seems to be a trade-off. On one, you have better quality, clearly better quality. On the other, you have much broader support. So I think at the end of the day, it's really going to be where game developers decide to go with this. And because AMD's GPUs and technology is a part of the consoles, I do feel as though it's probably going to go more towards AMD. And if that's the case, maybe they will be able to work on this and make it significantly better. But oops, my apologies. That was just like the name for this video. But as of right now, I do have to say that it is better, but it also looks more like it's smooth than anything else. And my camera just turned off again. So that will be the sign to me. What we're going to do is let's go through really quickly. I am going to turn this off and switch out to the 580 and just kind of go through, and we'll pick another game. Don't worry. Let's see. Okay. So let me do that really quickly. Let's first get out of all this. Shut down. And I should reinstall the driver, but I really don't need to. Or at least I didn't in my testing. So let's get this off. Give me just a second. Oh, you know what? I apologize, everyone. I just realized, and this is pretty sad. Once again, I haven't really had too much time to play with this. What in the world? Okay, there we go. This is a 590. You probably can't even hear me. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm gonna take one thing back. I'm really, really sorry. But on this right here, let's see. Give me 1 second. That's a 590. I am really sorry, everyone. I have no idea why I put 580. I don't know, wasn't thinking, but that is actually the 590. So, yeah, once again, sorry about that. I will say when it boots, I will have to restart it, but at least I had to last time. Hold on 1 second. I may want to put in. Yeah, it just. The last time that I did this, just made the quick switch like this, it did have to do a restart. But let's see. Does anyone have any questions? I guess that's. Please don't not do this. Once again, like I was saying, I was having such an issue with the HDMI, just the cords, because I apparently had, it's basically a pass-through, so I can show everyone this. It's basically a pass-through, and it was just not wanting to work. And then I found out that I needed to switch out I actually had to switch out both of the cables. So, oh, please don't tell me it's having this issue again. But even after doing that, I had to restart it a couple times. So, Okay. Anyway, these questions. Let's see if there's any. Please make it related to this. Not general questions. Both DLSS and FSR. That's a good question. I don't think they would work together. I don't know of any right now. I don't believe so. But I don't think they would work together. I don't see that happening. As far as iGPUs, we can go back for anyone who has any questions about that. Does look like it's loading up. Yes. So it does support Ryzen 2000 series processors with Radeon graphics. Yes. And it is that. Let's see. Okay. All right. Let's move on over here. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. That would be completely incorrect. You are not seeing what should be seen. You are not seeing what the capture card should be seeing. I'm going to try and switch it. Yes. Okay. Okay. Awesome. That was scary for a second there. But let's jump into, let's do Terminator. Okay, so once again, this is a 590. I am really sorry, everyone. What a ridiculous mistake. But right whenever I was putting it in, I thought it randomly hit me. I'm like, wait, I think this is a 590, and then I looked, and it is. So anyway, so let's, I'm not gonna lie, I'm right at the beginning, so that's a thing again. Oh, let me get on. Let's do this. Okay. Okay. So let's see where we have it right now. So it is on Epic and 4K, and keep in mind that this is an RX 590. But it's on. Okay. So we can already see that it's getting really low FPS. So this is one of the times where I can see this being worth it, especially if you have a card that uses ray tracing, or even if you don't. Once again, as you saw, it is at least better than 1440p. So it's better than moving down to 1440p, although you could also argue that it looks smoothed out. So it's kind of up to you as to which one you think is better. I mean, but I would say it is better, pretty much definitively. But let's move over to quality. And you can see, so we now have playable. And that to me is definitely fairly important. I think if we get up close, let's see if we can see a difference here. So we have quality, and let's just turn it off. There is a bit of a difference. I just don't know if you're going to be able to see it. So once again, you know, I mean, I'm not sure how this is going to translate to YouTube, but it's definitely, I would not enjoy this experience at all. I mean, it's not completely unplayable, but it would not be fun. But at the same time, this is also, you know, an RX 590, and the resolution is set to 4K. So let's see. Let's see. And yes, you did see some tearing. Let's see. Okay. So see, it's now playable. And that to me is definitely one of the kind of takeaways. It's better than lowering the resolution, in my opinion. So because it's better than lowering the resolution, it is a step up. It's just not the type of step at all that we've seen from DLSS 2.0. But then there's that wide adoption. So there's definitely some give and take. I think at this part I have to run away, and I died last time. So I mean, this makes it playable. Well, we are now dipping below. Why am I stuck? These Terminators. I promise I'm not normally this bad. But I'm also not great, so you know that's why I don't do any Let's Play. But it is interesting because it's really quick. You can just switch it on the fly just like this, so you can kind of determine what is worth it for you. So that's ultra quality, and it's still effectively unplayable, but if we move it to quality, it makes it very much playable. So now we're up in, you know, 46, 47 FPS, and you know what? Let's do this. Let's turn it, it won't let me change the resolution from here, but if I do windowed full screen, sometimes, nope, there we go, okay. So now it will just from windowed. Okay. So let's apply this. Okay. And then we can, nope. Let's just change it here. Why is it still saying? Okay. So I probably have to restart it. You know what? Okay, so we're getting not okay, so I guess it did switch it. Okay, so it is because it's windowed. Okay, that's fine. So we're getting, did I leave? Okay, so this is still with quality, so let's turn that off. Let's apply it and let's see what kind of difference we get. So it's about the same. So, which I guess would be to be expected. It looks like it's a little bit less. So we're in the 50s, early 50s, high 40s. But yet, whenever we go to this right here, and then we move to quality, it's not changing it because I clearly have to change the resolution again. It says it's that, but I don't think it is. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, this is going to be annoying. I probably could have just searched for display. Crap. So right there with 1440p with no FSR turned on, it was in the high 40s, low 50s. So now whenever we go in, let's continue. Please, it's not going to be in the same area, I don't think. Oh, it is. Yay. Okay. So now, yeah, I knew that was wrong before. So now we're on the quality. Okay, so you can see that you are losing a little bit of FPS. So it's around 4 or 5 FPS less compared to. So it clearly is using a little bit of resources to do this. But it is better, like we've seen. So anyway, that's that one. And you can definitely see that you get fairly similar performance across most all of the games. Let's try Rift Breaker. I'm just not sure if anyone's actually able to see much of a difference here. Someone asked if I'm streaming from a different PC. Yes, it's different. It is a different PC. And I'm just using the HD60S Plus from Elgato, the capture card. So it shouldn't affect performance too much. So this should be about what you should expect to see. I mean, there's gonna be little variances. Let's see. Oddly enough, I will say that this build was running in older Windows, and I tested it out before I realized that it was. And I updated the Windows, and it slightly lost a little bit of FPS. So I will say that. Okay, so once again, we are... Okay, so we turn it off, confirm, and then we can do a survival, yeah. As you can see, this is a beta build. I will say I'm kind of excited for this game. It's pretty fun.
Rift jump successful.
I have gone through it a little
Sensors
bit and
online,
played it, but
activated. We're ready to go.
Ashley, construct a headquarters building to secure our
it does
presence
add
here.
some interesting
It will allow
elements
me to
to like
reconstruct
normal
my office
RTS
destroyed.
games. But okay,
We don't
so
have
right
enough
now
company
we're
to
getting
build an
around
HQ.
47.
Let's scout for a deposit and set up.
And once again, just like the others, we can go through, just go into settings. Or no, advanced, nope. Wait, okay, there it is. I was like, wait a second. Okay, so ultra quality
Our base close to it. We need to move quick.
gives
It's
you a little
probably matter
bit.
of
Now
time
we're
before the natives spot us.
getting towards the 60s, and then let's just move straight to performance. Oops. Wait. Yeah, I did do that right? Hold on. Okay, yeah. Yes. But it's because I haven't changed anything in the end. Okay, so now we're literally up in the 100s. High 90s, early 100s with an RX 590. But you do start losing your edges. So, I mean, it's a trade-off, but once again, certainly seems to be better than
Ashley, I'm
just
sure that
lowering
our
the
presence will
resolution
not go
outright.
unnoticed. We
Although,
should build up
once
our
again,
base as quickly
it does
as
show
possible.
a little bit of smoothing. But, like, for example,
Standard
there's,
protocol advises to set up walls
I
and
don't know
signal
if it'll
towers around
ever
the base.
support
We're not
it,
sure what to
but
expect here.
one of the heaviest ray tracing games, believe it or not, is Minecraft, with their like beta RTX, and it just pummels even my 6800 XT or even my 6900 XT. It brings it to unplayable levels. We're talking 15, 16, 17 FPS. So being able to turn that on, and with the fact that it's such a major difference between that and normal Minecraft, without the ability to do that, yes, you could lower the resolution, but it will absolutely help while being able to maintain, 4K, at least a 4K final image. And those are the cases where I really see this absolutely being worth it. And yes, this is a real-time strategy game, and I've talked to the people, the developer, I don't know if it's a developer, it probably isn't a developer, it's probably just their, like, customer relations or something, but either way, they seem really nice, and they look pretty fun. Like I said, I've played it a little bit. You actually have, it reminds me a little bit of Warcraft, a little bit, but you have abilities in Warcraft too, but So we are dropping a little bit, but I think that kind of gives it... Oh, crap. I'm actually stuck now. Okay. Let's see if we can find a good scene where we can test this out and kind of see if we can personally see some of the difference. The issue with this is that it's such a big overhead. Okay. So I'm going to focus on the rocks and that. I'm going to try and see if I can switch it, see what kind of a difference I can see. So I want to turn it off completely. Yep, there's definitely a difference in the trees. I know they're a little bit far off, but you can really see the individual... I don't even know what you would call that. They're not really leaves, but the individual little pieces coming off. But yet, whenever we switch it over to, let's do straight performance, it loses that. And it is a difference. You can now see that they're starting to kind of group up rather than being able to see each individual one. Let's see. Let's go back really quickly so maybe you can see what I'm talking about. I really hope. Is everybody able to see that? Okay, so turn it off. Now you can see way more of the, even over in here, if you notice, you can see all these little individual strands. And you can only get that. Let's see how much you lose it. Is everybody able to see it, or am I just talking? Okay, hopefully everyone can see what I'm talking about. Let's see. So let's try and go to quality. See if we can still see it. I can. We can still see the leaves or whatever it is of this branch are starting to kind of blend together. You're not really able to see each individual. This would probably be a really good thing to kind of show with hair. So it is being smoothed out. It is losing some of that detail, but once again, it is also a difference in performance. But anyway, I don't want to just keep doing this all day, and I know you definitely don't want to see my gameplay, but let me move back over here. Hopefully my camera is still working. It is, but because it turned off, the zoom is messed up again. So yeah. Okay. Hopefully everyone kind of got a chance to see everything that I was talking about. Hopefully, you know what? Whoever said to zoom in on OBS, let's do it really quickly. We're going to go right back. Don't hate me, but that was a really good idea. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to zoom in using OBS. And great. Apparently it's been a little while since I played this, but apparently there are day-night cycles. So it's now night. Yay. Let's go back over here. Crud, this actually stinks because this doesn't help at all. Let's go to main menu. We know what to look for. We're going to go to the jungle again. And keep in mind that this is, zoomed in, so you're not seeing everything that I am, but I'm going to try and make sure
Weapons activated.
Let's
We're
hope that
ready
we
to
can go to where those are.
Ashley,
It's
construct
probably
a
in a
headquarters
completely
building
different
to secure
place
our
because
presence here.
this
It will
is
allow me
almost
to
certainly
reconstruct
procedurally
my armor is
generated.
destroyed.
We don't have enough
But I
carbonium to
think
build
that
an HQ.
showed the
Let's
kind of
scout for a
difference that
deposit
you can
and set up our
expect to
base
see.
close to it. We need to move quick.
Get away.
It's probably a matter of time before the natives spot us.
Ow, ow, no, I got in the mud crud again. Oh no. This would be my luck. Those palm trees were perfect. Oh, yes! Now we just have to kill these so I don't die. Yes, yes. Okay. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more.
Ashley, I'm sure that our presence will not go unnoticed. We should build up our base as quickly as possible.
Standard
Oh,
protocol
you can't
advises
see the
set
FPS.
walls
that's in the
and
top
cell towers
left.
around the base.
Just
We aren't sure
understand
what
that
to
I've
expect.
literally taken the image in OBS and just stretched it so you're kind of in the middle of the screen, basically. I mean, I can probably... Nah, it's gonna cut everything off. Okay. This is perfect. This is gonna show you exactly what I mean with what we're seeing. Okay, so let's completely turn it off. So FSR is completely turned off. And what I want you to do is try and focus here